Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Ask Deadly, the weekly show where I read your questions and do my best to answer them. Every week in the future, this episode will be back on Sundays instead of throughout the week, just to get back on track with the scheduling, so let's get started. The first question is coming from Tricky DayZ. Where do you find the music for your videos when you use music? Also, what is the best way to filter a list of songs to find ones which suit the theme of DayZ? Well, whenever I'm doing my live stream, I go to dayztv.com/radio, which provides a variety of different ambient music tracks, some of which are copyright. So you got to be careful not to use that on your YouTube videos, but for streaming on Twitch, it's completely fine. I get most, if not all, of my music from either the YouTube audio library itself, or from Epidemic Sound, and I have Epidemic Sound's music license through my Curse YouTube partnership. So I also have Audio Micro and other things available to me as well. So contact your MCN or YouTube network to see exactly what kind of licenses you have and utilize them, because you're technically paying for them. Next one comes from Alfie. What was your favorite game before DayZ? Probably World of Warcraft, I would say, is the game that I put the most amount of time in. Halo 3 and some of the Call of Duty franchise games I also really liked. Some Gears of War from time to time. So I used to be very much into consoles before I discovered Steam and DayZ Mod and all sorts of awesome games. And since then, I pretty much hard switched to PC only. Next question comes from Broy's Lindsay. Are player lists turned off or glitched right now, or are they never coming back? I don't think they're ever coming back because it just provides far too much information to see if your rivals are online, or to actually find streamers or other players to specifically grief or target them. So I don't see it coming back, but there are always other means of getting that information, like through game trackers or through the Steam server browser. So you will be able to see who's on the server using other means, not just directly from in the game. The next question comes from Jasper, but I will say dozens of other people mentioned this. Hey Deadly, what the fuck happened at the end of last QA's video? Dude, I have no idea. I heard it back through Sony Vegas and it sounded fine, and I uploaded it to YouTube and it turned into a bunch of chipmunk sounds. So I'm not too sure what happened there. I'm just guess it was just an audio glitch. Next question comes from Nathan Ryan. I've noticed on both public and private Pipsy servers that the best place to find PvP has actually been the major coastal towns like Electro, Cami, and Berezino. I was wondering if you've noticed the same thing as well. If so, what is your opinion on it? For all the servers that I play on, for the most part, no. Steroid, Goglovo, Novi, Starry sort of overtake those ones. However, on public servers, player bases typically start to move towards the coast rather than military bases. So I'm sure on Pipsy Public you probably will find a lot of people on the coast. I can't really say for Pipsy Private, I've never played there. So every server sort of has its defined play areas. So the more you play there, the more you learn what they are. Next question comes from Kyle Vester. Where have you ever found more rare weapons such as the FAL or VSS, as well as mags and ammo? Love your videos, dude. Well, the VSS Venturis is a little bit more difficult because it's spawning in really weird locations around the map. So, and all those locations are currently not defined. So some civilian houses actually spawn the VSS Venturis. As for the FAL, military camps is the best way to find it. And from what I can notice, it doesn't really matter what military base. Every military spawn has the potential of spawning a FAL and a FAL with a FAL with the mag already inside the gun. The FAL mags themselves only spawn on helicopters, and I have not found one yet this patch. So mainly in the guns is how you have to find the FAL mags these days. Next question comes from the DayZ player. What do you think about the new player animations in the work in progress weapons and vehicles? I answered all the questions surrounding modding last week, so and you left this comment on that video, so just go back and rewatch that video if you want to learn more about modding. I think for the most part, everybody is extremely excited for the new player controller because it is said to have fixes for a lot of different issues in the game right now. Especially, for instance, getting shot at whenever you're drinking from a well, not being able to cancel those animations and things like that as quick as you can and as quick as you should be able to. Full body and half body animations it's exciting. It's going to change the way the game feels for a lot of players. And obviously the new weapons and vehicles, I'm not too excited for that kind of stuff because I don't think it's actually going to have a massive impact on how the game is played. Because they're just weapons, and we already have a massive variety of weapons in the game already, so adding a few more in isn't really going to drastically change the game. The vehicles, on the other hand, I'm looking forward to those coming back on Stable Branch. I've had the opportunity of actually using 2 vehicles during experimental branch this week, and I can safely say that they actually play reasonably well. Obviously, it's not playing as smooth as a game like Grand Theft Auto, for instance, but it's a start. I think the vehicles are finally moving in the right direction, and I'm hopeful that in 0.61 we'll actually get a chance to use them on Stable Branch, and then people can decide for themselves. But like I said, I enjoy driving them, so I'm really looking forward to having them return to the game. Next question comes from Jack Osborne. Will they ever fix the glitchy zombie movements ever? Every zombie I see is really glitchy and it can be pretty annoying. Well, this is a perfect follow-up to last question because, yeah, the zombies are using the new player controller. So that's why it's kind of interacting in a really weird way with the players in the game right now because they're on an older system. So apparently when the characters get ported over to this new movement system, things will get a lot better. Apparently. So we'll just have to take their word for it. Next question comes from Mark. Hey mate, love the videos. Just been getting into your live streams and they're smoking hot. I bought DayZ a couple months ago and just curious what my mindset should be. Should I be worried about holding on to my gear or should I just book it? Honestly, for the most part, getting over the gear fear is one of the more important things to do to actually enjoy this game and not worrying whenever you get killed because everybody dies in DayZ. The best players to the worst players, we all die to some ridiculous things. So getting too attached to your gear will only hurt more whenever you do die, but will add to the intensity for whenever you are in a firefight or a near-death situation. So I would just say play and enjoy the game and just let the anxiety and the fear come naturally, and just over time it sort of just leaves you and you become a little bit more confident for firefights. Next question comes from Turbo Penguin. What video editing software do I use? I use Sony Vegas, and I've been using Sony Vegas pretty much since 2009. So for everything from doing YouTube commentaries to creating game guides or just general YouTube stuff, Sony Vegas is pretty much the perfect program for that. So you don't need to get like Adobe Premiere, although it is a far superior program in my opinion. You don't need something crazy like that. Sony Vegas is really easy and simple to learn. There's thousands of guides online, so I would guide you in that direction if you're looking for a Sony or a video editing software. I highly recommend it, and it gets the job done for me. Next question comes from Funk. Hey Deadly, where's your favorite place to PvP, and do you still get the thrill and adrenaline rush from encounters like new players may experience? My favorite place to PvP is probably still the Northwest Airfield North Tents, and it's actually really awesome to re-experience it after all the changes. So I would say if you're looking for some good action, the Northwest Airfield is always a good call. There's usually people around looting high-end military gear and are willing to risk it for a little firefight. And yeah, of course, I still get the thrill and the adrenaline and the anxiety in some situations, not all. And I find it's unpredictable. Like in a situation where I'll be going up against 4 or 5 enemies, I'm calm and cool and collected. But then other times I'm like stalking a player for like 30 minutes and my heart is just racing because one false move and I'm dead. So it just depends on the situation. And also how much fucking coffee I've had. If I'm like drilling 3 or 4 coffees, man, I get some pretty bad jitters to the point where my hands start to shake a little bit too much and I have to actually take a break. That's happened only twice in the past couple months, but still, just little things like that. Yeah, this game is super intense and it still gets me to this day. Next question comes from Spoos. What survival items would you like to see in the future of DayZ? Well, a lot of things need to change in the game in order for DayZ to become a really good survival game. So when I think survival, I'm thinking out in the wilderness, just trying to survive via fishing, hunting, maybe a little bit of horticulture, but I think the horticulture in the game right now is a little too insane. You can grow food far too quickly. But I would like to see some improvised stashes like lean-tos and different structures that you can build and hide supplies in the game and build in the woods. I would like to see maybe some more importance to the knifing system, because being able to make a one-slot stone knife that is superior to a steel hunting knife is a little stupid. So making knives and changing the value of knives and allowing certain knives to have the ability to do some things but not everything, so diversifying it would be really important. I would just say lean-tos. I think lean-tos is my number one thing that I'd like to see right now. And I know it's coming, or improvised tents, they're coming in the future, so it's just something we have to be patient for. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Ask Deadly. Be sure to leave your questions in the comment section below with the hashtag AskDeadly, and I'll do my best to answer your questions next Sunday. And also be sure to check out my daily live stream every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be a link included in the description box below. And make sure that you hit the subscribe button to watch videos every single day here on the channel.